I should give people that how you advise the young girl?
Advice. Or whatever, or like when people meet me and then I'm not scared of what people are going to say about you. And I'm like, yeah, the people who like you, like I said, now on a wider platform, like you are exposed to a whole range of people in your country, outside your country. There was this girl, a Nigerian girl who posted a TikTok recently, and then the whole world was coming for her. So imagine they're insulting you in Swahili. It was about her looks, and I felt so bad for her because the whole world is calling you ugly. Like, how would you survive? But one thing is that I am an influencer, and you compare us to each other together. And in one of my videos, we have this banter where I said, "And then you're so boring. You're always indoors.
Oh,
Let's go out." And the out was KFC. So that should tell you it's a joke.
oh.
And my cousin was.
Hey, that KFC be joke. Asolo.
Oh,
KFC will be a joke.
I don't mean it like that.
Oh,
but anyway, so my cousin understood the joke. It's something we've been saying to each other all the time, but people took it the wrong way. Somebody came me on Instagram telling me that this was in my Instagram person, and princesses of each other, you know. Like we start
a few men black movies. You really are strong. I mean,
the first time I got bullied, I was like 16 or 17 years old.
So there's never been an instance where like you felt like the pressure or like
no. So there was this one time, I don't remember the exact creator. Like I said, let me just give you guys a hint. This creator,
I know him
as his handle. So he was cosplaying as a he is now. He's a YouTuber as well. Anyway, so this creator insulted me on Twitter, said I am average looking. Mind you, I've never spoken to you. Once was just this year. Yeah. This was for because I think he's not like a sensitive human being. So we've never spoken, and at that time we had never talked. I just woke up one day and I saw that he's on Twitter saying that Madam Gisela girl cry. Do you people where they make her feel like she's nice? Me and now I'm a prostitute.
Oh wow.
So this is the main reason why I don't like that creator. And that's really got to me because I feel like I felt like if you have an issue with like my mom was imagine like she understood the whole so say that it was my mother's fault. That was when so at that time I really felt it. I'm not even like that is why I still remember because because of this situation. I have never supported this. If you look at it, just check what's going on. Somebody is comparing me to didn't make it to the final. So it was a sarcastic tweet. So you know what I did? When I saw that, I just deleted my Twitter account. I never went back till now, and that was like 2 years ago.
So currently you don't have a Twitter account?
No, I don't have a Twitter account. And when I left Twitter, I felt like at some point, some of the people who have bullied me before, and not are you hating so the complete aspect of us? Like, yeah, I am a YouTube vlogger. I will show you what I want you to see.
Your entire life is a part of it.
They were bullying me and my partner. Right now, why it's some way you don't expect the backlash. Like because if you've been following me for a long time, you know that I've not had the best luck with men. So if I found a good man and I'm putting it out there, we keep on saying like, why you don't think of responding. Honestly, me right now, you don't see anybody talk shit about me on Instagram or on TikTok and see me responding to the person.
Yeah, that's simple. Just ignore.
Like this whole boyfriend issue. What was I supposed to say?
So I was talking like black voter. So I mean, I'll ask the same question. Like, have you had? You can't.
I can't really point, but there was one that I think I'll forever remember.
Hey.
There was one. It was on X.
Of course, if it was X, where would it be?
It was on X, and it was actually it was to create. We wanted to get that form of engagement.
Okay.
You understand? It ended up in a whole tweet storm. And this was when we tweeted that Bloomberg was leaving Ghana.
Bloomberg was leaving Ghana.
Yes. Right. Now we tweeted that Bloomberg was leaving Ghana, and then we came back with another one that I woke up. I think 2 hours after the tweet. The phone was hot. The phone was literally hot. You understand? And it was like just going up and down and up and down. And we just, you see, the thing about cyberbullying, and I like what he said is rants and bans and people insulting you and stuff like that. Sometimes there's a lot of you guys did. I'm gonna be very open and plain. You know how Ghana it's divided as the people that support the
LGBTQ
and there are people that necessarily are against it. There are some people that we met in town yesterday, and we're like, that video there, I won't even watch it at all. You understand? There's no way I'm going to watch it. And there are some people that went like, okay, you know what? I watched it and stuff like that. Today, like this, I think on our way driving, I watched. You understand? Like people either are ignorant about a lot of things.
Yeah.
People also are very sheltered in what they do and stuff like that. So when you read, yes, you go through the engagements, you read through the comments, and you realize there's so much education that can be done out of the things that you actually post. Some of the cyberbullying, someone is insulting this and someone insulting that. Sometimes as creators, also go into your comment section, like you understand, read, understand why some people are doing some of their things, and then use that for your, maybe you can use it for your next content. You understand? Use it to educate, use it to how do you call it? To amplify yourself. You understand?
So that's why we have Fact Forward here. Don't forget, so supported by Mozilla. I wanted to ask something, please. Twasso.
What you said was that sometimes you have to give people, you have to listen to what your audience and you give them the chance, and they would overdo, basically. Let me give you an example. So, growing up, I've always suffered with hyperpigmentation in my armpits.
Could you please explain to those that don't know
so
what that is?
Hyperpigmentation is when your some parts of your skin is like deeply pigmented, like with your melanin. So it's like darker than them. Some people it's on your face, or you have like dark circles around your eyes. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. And my mom also has this hyperpigmentation, the same spot where I have mine, which is my underarms. And honestly, like growing up, I felt very uncomfortable. Like it wasn't something my mother finally told me, like social media, and I'm really posting myself because I'm like, I'm a human being. You have your flaws. Some people, everybody has their flaw, except that mine is in my armpit. And it's very obvious and everybody can see it.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of people were in my comments. Please go and use Kojic soap. Please go and do this. Please, have you tried seeing a dermatologist? Have you do?
Education is key, guys. Education is key.
And I started, so my thing is, before I like when my audiences are like very expressive. I love like opinions, right? New opinions, especially on YouTube. I encourage my people my gizzards to tell me what they think about something I'm doing and something that I'm not doing. But at some point, I had to come and stop. I had to come and say that, listen, I know that I have hyperpigmentation. It's not now that you're coming to tell me, please use Kojic, please do this, please do that. No. Like, I don't want to hear it again. And it's honestly helped me because it was starting to make me insecure. It's something I can't change. It's like telling a midget to go tall.
Short kings, you are still loud.
No, they are not midgets.
You are still loud. You want to add on to that?
So, with what we said, I think Gisela also has made a point there. You understand? You also need to understand your particular platform. Our platform like this, why I'd say it's more educative for us is because we run a faceless brand. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's easier for us to use the comments in our section to actually educate. Yes, and it's a service that you are providing. But also at the same time, if you are the face of your particular brand, you understand? Yeah. It's quite difficult. You understand? You can just be. Sometimes I see the shout out to him. You understand? Him educating, and imagine someone just coming into the comments and be like, "You said which tech tool you said." You understand? It will have this particular feed, my page where it's my adding a service, and you can educate people as well. Actually.
Right. That's actually really good insight. I really love. So other creators or upcoming creators can create a certain audience. Some people's audience are a bit more rowdy based on the content. Some others are more of like very cutesy, very what was the word? Demure. Who said good? But anyway, that's really good. So as creators, what do you think we can do to facilitate a really safe interaction on our site? One, yeah. So I co-founded JBOS.com, right? And then from get-go, I remember exactly where we were when we decided to work on JBOS, right? From get-go, the whole idea was not from the start. It was looking at it from first of all making it profitable in 2 years, and then looking at it from the end goal in 5 years, right? So whilst we work on all those content during those times, we're looking at it from the impact it's going to make in. So whilst my two co-founders come from, the average person goes to go and search for it. So we're not really chiving on training news and then there's this event here that is we in fact if you see that event, I'm there to have fun. I'm not there to like I'm not there to report it, right? Because so this is how creators should look at their content. Don't look at your content now, look at it in 5 years. Have a strategy like I said earlier, our now can you make a publication and own up to it? Yes, when you are no more than content. What I mean by people refer you as content that appeared on the course, not like it was cyber video or actually this is the all because they felt like, oh, it's the truth, all right, but don't talk about it. Yeah. Make it a safer space for everyone. Look at the content that you are creating. If you able to stand by the content you are creating in the next 5 years, you know that you're on the right track. You understand? Your boss show you the video of your content. Exactly. And you don't feel uncomfortable. You know that it's not. Yes. And another sells or the sells faster. Yeah. Like, that's where everyone wants to go. Like I literally saw black content from probably like 1,000 followers where it is now. Right? And it was that content that no one was doing. Yeah. Like everyone was doing trending and then where I see. He was always out. Like bringing you the content that you are not seeing, like where the giants are. Right? And I was surprised to know that now it's able to transform from just posting not even if you create express for some people. Yeah. Like yeah. So as content creators, look at it from that perspective. Have the end goal inside. You might end up dwelling on the negative trending stuff. That might not help you build a brand in 5 years. Because most of us here might be fresh out of uni or can you stand by those content you do when you're doing it? Yeah. If you can do stand by it, always look at it from that perspective. I'm sure if you look at it from those perspectives, you'll be able to create a safe space for everyone, including your fellow content creators. Yeah. All right. So I think we're about to wrap this up. Does anyone here have any questions they would like to ask before we wrap this up? Anybody? Any questions? Any questions? You're looking very bright. You know, the sun is in my eye, bro. All right. So what's your name and please?
My name is Dramani.
Dramani.
Yes, please.
Okay,
so I'd like to ask.
We ask who? Yes, all of us?
Yes, anyone that is willing to answer.
Okay.
So let's say you some content 5 years ago, and now in 2024, you look back at those content and feel like you aren't proud of those content. So you rebrand or you just have to continue with the rebranding you just did.
Anyone want to answer? Okay, Gisela.
So I think you should delete it because from the experience of other creators, especially outside Ghana, racism is like very deep to people there, right? So there are some creators who are very popular now, and then you see that they are cancelled because of some tweets they made 10 years ago about black people looking like, sorry to say, monkeys, blah 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 blah. And Ghanaians, we don't cancel people. We don't cancel people, but you will be that influencer that everybody sees in a negative light. You know, there are some influencers that nobody thinks of them as a positive influencer. Like they just think they are messy or they are negative, or like if you want to gossip, go to this influencer. If you want what's it called? There's a word, controversy, go to this influencer. And that is what will draw you to that place. Most of the bloggers right now, if they show their real faces and they try to rebrand, the stories they put out there in the past will haunt them forever. So if you are trying to rebrand, make it epic, make people aware that don't be subtle about it. I'm trying to rebrand. I'm rebranding, like just make it people aware of it. And delete your old posts that you think will affect your new brand or will be too controversial.
So I asked because I used to be a comic actor. That was 5 years ago. So now I've rebranded myself to be a Pan-Africanist. So when I go back to look at posts I made, I feel like, no, this shouldn't be me. So I felt sad when I looked at the comic videos I made and I posted out there. they're not negative, but sometimes I feel like I still have my friends who used to laugh at those things. Some even share with me, but I feel like no, this shouldn't be.
One thing, I'm sure those of us who have been on Twitter for years will realize that around 2015, 2014, Twitter, that now is even better. Back then, you could pass a rape joke and then it will pass. Now you can't try it. You can't. It won't pass. Like you will easily cancel, right? So if let's say you know me personally, there are so many things that I learned off Twitter. So I tell people that especially who've been there for years and you're trying to build brand that, bro, go through your Twitter. You see what they did to kill him. I don't know if anyone artists, right? I don't know if anyone remembers. Yes. So what I tell people is that if you are trying to build brand and getting serious with your brand, go back to your old tweets. There are certain keywords that you should search and delete them. And search for tweets you made about those things and delete them because if it bounces back, they'll cancel you out. And like Gisela said, you don't cancel in Ghana, but fortunately or unfortunately, we are getting there. I can assure you that in the next probably like 5, 10 years, there'll be a cancel culture. We are getting, especially from social media. So you can make a post now or a tweet now that can pass through the greens. But in the next 5, 10 years, you'll be read down, search for them and delete them. But if they were like fun comments or posts, you can let it slide. I'm sure if they're really treating like branding, then I could have probably extended the conversation on the person Gisela was talking about to that we are able to sort of rebrand to who he is now, right? And then most people have literally forgotten that past of him. Like most people have forgotten about that past of him. Yeah.
Okay. So, any more questions? You please pass the.
Please, I would like to find out how, let's say, you want to create content. What are the basic steps you need to take in place to ensure that whatever content you are bringing out there is positive? And also, if, let's say, you create content and then you get negative comments, how are you supposed to respond to that? Okay, so things that you need, you know that you can post them. Usually, the thing is, before you put some kind of content out there, think about how it will impact your audience. And also, every content creator, I'm sure, he knows the type of audience they have and then the demographics of their audience. You know the age range of your audience. Me, I know that most of an Instagram video, I'm looking at something that will not generate negativity, or I think of it as if my little sister was watching this video, what would she take from it? How would she think about it? Influence on some people would it generate negative? You are gender, maybe you are not an LGBTQ ally or fan, but you should watch your comments about them because they're also human beings. Like before anything, think of everybody as a person. So this content am I posting? Am I saying that LGBTQ people are idiots? Am I saying they are demons? You should think of how the best thing to do is not to really talk about it at all. So me, I have a state. And also, like I said,
Okay,
sometimes it hurts your feelings. It's normal.
For chest down.
Just delete and block. Don't say anything to them. Some people they are happy.
One last question. Okay, just on the back. Kojo, can you pass it? Oh, when you get I'll buy it on. Yeah. All right. Oh, please, your name, by the way.
All right. My name is like creating content. Like today's Thursday, you're looking for fresh content. I know you do TikTok. I see Black Bottom. Just like Google, like really thinking.
Okay. Let me see if I can answer a question for you. But you see, with content, when I mean anything can be content. What she just did is content. Hold on. Tell people that say they want to be content creators that what do you like to do? Or what would you like to see creative? Because sometimes you think, okay, for instance, someone like Gisela on a podcast, you think that, oh, maybe I should be a podcast because that's what's on top right now. Trust me. In fact, just do what you do. She doesn't believe she doesn't grow an audience from that. So our people out there want to see you listen to raindrops to sleep. You listen to raindrop sounds to sleep. Anyone that's it, yeah. See, I was very surprised when I found out that there are people who listen to raindrop sounds to sleep. I was looking up videos on YouTube and the views are crazy, like crazy, right? So just find your niche. First of all, find your interest, and then the niche. You are good to go. Be consistent. That is all.
So you asked about how we are making content, like it's a Thursday and then we are here. As I'm here right now, I'm creating content. My camera is with Junior. So the thing is that when I started influencing, before I was booked and then like busy and then getting people to have me work for them, I was making my own schedule for myself. Like I'll literally so Saturday I'll go out to 3 different places, create content, then come back and sleep. During the week I just post them. And at that time I couldn't do weekly vlogs like I am doing now because now I have time to vlog weekly. So I was coming up with ideas that could be in the form of a sit down video. So at that time I was spread it across 2 weeks. Does that make sense? So you just
Talk about right now. There's a car outside. Things that people content. One is, but let's try now. How do you do? How do you do? How come you got it right? All of you do it, really, right? I'm gonna come in and say car number G7258. You are quiet. Car number G7258. You are so quiet. The blue lantern. You say, you see something very short and I want to walk up the stage, right? I'm also going to show you content angles. Okay, so for example, stand here. So I want to do content with the audience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture myself coming into frame. Normally, angle 1 is a wide shot. Angle 2 is me coming like this. Car number this, that. Then we can cut it there. That's one angle. Second angle is called a close-up. You know what a close-up is? Where there. Another angle, same frame. I'll record you guys again. That's one angle. And I say the real lamp. You say, okay, then all of you are getting up. See, oh. Car number 2, 6, they are all quiet. They're confused. You understand? All right, so example. Darling, I'm going to put you all in this business. Right? So please, someone has parked very wrongly. The car number GH5837. So another thing you can do with wide shots is if you don't want to do the whole one video, now 3 times, right? I'm just doing it in 2 shots. Do you guys understand? Second angle, please all of them. Right. So with close-ups in a crowd, what you can do is called like you pan, all right? You're gonna move left and right because it's supposed to be from your POV. Your POV is what's POV? Yeah, you. What's POV? Mame, what's POV? Hey, wait, guy. Oh, thank you. All right, so POV is point of view, all right? So when you say point of view, we're going to record something. I want you to record it as your eyes, okay? Because they're taking my POV of saying car number this, that. Now, move. You can go slowly. Now go left and right. You know what? You can take multiple styles in one shot. Just cut them, cut it in your editing, all right? Yeah. So she's doing a slow one. In case you want to slow. Sometimes just be like multiple. You can do slow, fast. Just to be. Yeah. All right. Now that's one content. Now the last frame is now like we can this one here. Now I'm going to say the punchline. So do you guys know what a punchline is? So a punchline is basically any content you make. I'm saying this for like maybe those of us who do like comedy or story type skits, right? A punchline is something like the funny part of the skit. So the part that goes punchline here is the red and track, right? Being that you guys don't know, most people don't know their car license. So it's comedy content. I'm going to practical, but like me and comedy. Get a punchline, create something around it. So now this is the final, this is the punchline, right? So, the blue alarm track. sometimes so in content, it's good to like overreact sometimes. Do you get it? Some actions make for like a lot. So when I come do like a POV, now you guys say, oh, okay. Maybe someone will get up and go for the car. Who wants to get up? You are right. Oh, you ask the question, you have to get up. All right, so guys, so right now my punchline is you guys say and him leaving to go take the car. So my POV is stops at him, he comes out, I follow the camera follows him, and that's all. One. Peter will go for the car. One more time. I want the please.
Jasmine.
The red car. You guess it. All right, so final take. All right. 3, 2, 1. Your guy. Okay. So that's right there is content, guys. So do you guys understand? All right. Are you good now? One more question. This is the last question. I'm sorry I have to close you. Right, so please, madam. You ready one?
Hi. So I would like to ask all of you in the social media space, what strategies do you use to stay creative and to avoid burning out in such a fast-paced industry?
Zella wants to answer that question. He's asking like what strategies we use to like try and like stay creative, stay like creating content so that we don't die out and people so Zella.
Honestly, find a manager. My reason is that so I got management properly like this year. And when you're trying to come up with an idea, right? And then the idea is not coming, and then you go and ask your sisters, your brothers, and now the ideas start flowing. It's the same thing. So now you don't think for yourself. You have a group of people thinking for you, looking at what you're doing from afar. And because you're in your own space, you don't really see your potential, or you don't see how far your patient journey has really moved from the time I didn't have a management than now that I have a management, because I would have never thought of getting into a podcast space. Like by myself, I would never wake up one day and say, hey, today I want to start a podcast. Or Princess, let's start a podcast today. Why am I even going to meet a tea or dog? Do you get it? Mine would have just been YouTube blogging. And even with sponsored trips, you need someone to pitch for you. You need everything we do, even getting like my Fashion Nova ambassador deal, for instance. I needed someone to pitch for me to get it. Do you get it? So it's not always about you. Sometimes you need help from outside, and then they can also help you diversify. So you're not stuck in the shell that you think you're so comfortable like in. If I didn't get this podcast thing that I'm doing right now, I would have just been known as a YouTuber. And people, I'm known for being on RBC with the girls. I'm known for the YouTube space. I'm also known on Instagram for something else. Like you never know what, and nobody will mind you. It's not because you are boring. You are just not cut out for that. Some people are just not interested. Some people, they dress well, but they don't have a personality. Their personality is, if they see the tech, if I did tech, nobody will know, because I don't know anything. The details you give are not the details I'll give. And I can also boldly say that Desi can't be doing what I'm doing right now. Lay probably will be able to do what I'm doing right now. Explore your creativity and the things that you can do best. And even if you want to do it yourself, like it's good. And you just will be able to identify your potential. You get it? Like you just wouldn't be able to do that. Somebody else can see the potential in you than you can see it yourself. I just think that's
like that. Thank you. Now we are I'm sorry.
For MozFest House, I would say you should challenge us to ensure that young people have a voice. MozFest House Kenya is special.
Just an expression of fantastic.
It's on purpose, and it's
was an exciting imagination, exploration, and rethinking what Africa's digital future looks like.
For MozFest House, I would say you should challenge us to ensure that young people have a voice. MozFest House Kenya is special.
It's just an expression of fantastic.
It's on purpose, and it's brilliant.
It was an exciting space for imagination, exploration, and rethinking what Africa's digital future looks like.
For MozFest House, I would say you should challenge us to ensure that young people have a voice. MozFest House Kenya is special.
It's just an expression of fantastic.
It's on purpose, and it's brilliant.
It was an exciting space for imagination, exploration, and rethinking what Africa's digital future looks like.
For MozFest House, I would say you should challenge us to ensure that young people have a voice. MozFest House Kenya is special.
It's just an expression of fantastic.
It's on purpose, and it's brilliant.
It was an exciting space for imagination, exploration, and rethinking what Africa's
Explore the incredible expert on this panel, Desi Ocean, a content creator and IT professional, and Geoffrey Adeamwako, another leading IT tech professional. Are they here? Desi, I know you. Where is Geoffrey? He's not around. Please, I'm going to go around for the papers now. So if you feel like you don't want the money, you can just write my name on the paper, Koji Junior. Please 4012, 4012. 4024, like, yeah. Okay, we quite away. Yes, can we do me? Hey, that means you're not destined for this money. How are you? So about the giveaway, you guys can say, oh, we don't need the money, just give it to the junior. Sorry, yeah, Hello, guys. So as I said, in relations to the giveaway, you guys can just say, oh, you don't want the money. Just give everything to the junior. Yeah. What is this? Hi, so with our final panel, Desi, can you please join us on stage? And Cleopas. Oh no, Cleopas. Yeah. Please, the giveaway. I want to say this again. You guys can just say, oh, we don't need the money. So you guys. Now what you Okay, so as I said earlier, our final panel will explore the impact of AI on the dissemination of misinformation. We have Desi. So Desi, I'm going to have to use this mic. Hello? Can everyone hear me? I can't hear anybody. Can everyone hear me? Okay. This part that we're into right now it's very important. But before we start, I want to get, by show of hands, how many of you here are from GIJ? Everybody. Okay. I just wanted to know because it's going to, and it's a very interesting topic. A lot of people sort of think it's not as deep as it is, but perhaps I have a personal opinion that it's I have a personal opinion that it's one of the most dangerous aspects of AI as it is right now, especially because of how information is so powerful. There's a popular saying that says that the first war began with just the wrong words. Someone said the wrong words and people died. And words would forever have the power to decide our lives. I'm sure each and everyone here made a decision today based off on certain information that they had. Whether the information was true or not, you still made a decision. And the average person makes about 300,000 decisions in a day. And that's pretty interesting if you think about it. So for this conversation, I'm going to be talking with Godfrey and I'm going to be talking with Desi. And we're going to try to look at AI from a very logical perspective, moral perspective, and an idealistic perspective. That is that is looking forward to the version of AI that will not kill us, like you see in the movies, but to sort of augment our abilities to do more and to be able to sort of achieve more with less. So I'm going to sort of start from left, and I'm going to have you introduce yourself a little bit. I want to do it for you. I think you do better, and then we'll come to you, Godfrey, and we start the conversation. Desi Ocean. I'm a technology content creator and an IT professional. What I do is I create content around tech. So I try to break down complex concepts into easy to understand videos for everyone to enjoy. And I also work in the IT space. So occasionally I do some consulting, I do some web development, I do some mobile development. Yes.
Hello. My name is Dr. Adawafon. I'm the founder of TechLive. I'm a software engineer, 65 at Google. I'm an Android associate. I used to be a blogger way back 2017. I started in 2023, where we blogged about news and articles and other things. And I also have specialties in AI, building AI products. Yeah, nice meeting you.
Nice having Godfrey. I was just about to say that you should increase the volume a bit because I can barely hear myself. I'm sure I'm audible now, right? Yeah, and I like the sound of this. Thank you so much. So now that our panelists have introduced themselves, I'm going to start with the questions, but we are not going to jump into solutions or problems. We're going to sort of look at certain issues that are happening right now in the world of AI. So I'm going to start with Godfrey. When did you first realize how dangerous misinformation is? And just for the audience to understand, before you even talk about it, let's try to sort of explain what misinformation is so they understand the concept of misinformation, and then recount your very first experience where you realize that, okay, this is more deadly than I think it is.
I think my first experience with misinformation, the way I understand misinformation is where somebody is boldly stating something on the internet or probably anywhere else facts. I really got worried about misinformation when I started to look at certain bloggers I don't like Bongo Ideas. When I started to look at the number of people who were following him, I really got concerned because with the number of people probably liking something that he's saying without evidence or liking something that we all in our houses say that we disagree to, but on the internet we don't disagree to, was a word for me. Yeah.
Okay, somebody just mentioned names straight out of the bat, so I give you your props for that. This one. Yes, so for me, I'd say at a point where, as a content creator, like with me.
So I paid a closer look at the video and I saw, one, the audio was not synced with the mouth. So I could identify that, fine, this is AI generated, this is misinformation, this is something that's not actually true. At that point, I became very concerned because if this can be done, what else can be done afterwards?
That's brilliant. And I think I'm going to take us back a couple of years, right? We're going to go back to the very last election in the United States. And I'm sure most of you understand what happened with Donald Trump and the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, right? And that's one general example of how AI is sort of being misused. And there's lots of it sort of, and this is on YouTube, right? So we're looking at information that people already have access to, nothing major. Now, there's a new trend of content that is exclusively generated by AI under the tag of education. Right, BT wants to create a content about, let's say, the River Nile, and the AI sort of spits out information. They pick it up from there, they drop it into another AI, it creates a voice, it adds a video, and it's online as education. So the first group of children identified that that data was wrong. Now, what makes this even scarier is the fact that the average person can probably upload about 2 or 3 videos a day if they work really hard. If they have a team, they are pushing about 10 pieces of long form content or perhaps 15 pieces of short form content. Now, with this AI, according to YouTube, there are over 100,000 pieces of content published daily by what we call faceless accounts. Now, these faceless accounts are mostly exclusively AI, both audio, text, content. And by content, I mean the description of whatever thing they're teaching about. And all of it seems to be wrong. So I'm going to come back to you for the next question. Looking at the sheer power of AI, the fact that one person can now do the job of many at lightning speed, and no one is regulating or sort of validating the authenticity of this information they're putting out. Somebody can come and say the world is flat. And how do you think the role of the consumer would be in a world where you don't even have time to try to validate what you're reading online?
And say AI is here to make your life easy, AI is here to do stuff for you. But they usually forget the human aspect of things. So for any human being, there's that kind of cognitive reasoning, that kind of intuition, that kind of emotional attachment to things. And I always say it, if people are not actively making use of these senses to question things that you see online, at a point, AI will take over everything that we do. And the spread of misinformation will be so rampant that it gets to a point where there will be no use for us in this space anymore.
So that's a future I guess we all don't want, right? A future where you use your cognitive reasoning to discern between what's right and wrong. Does that mean that automatically you have to doubt everything that you see?
I think I would like to counter his point in the sense that AI is here to help us. AI can't supersede us. It's built by those that this is an AI. Or they should make it quite blurry to make a human being know that, oh, this is an AI image. With that, we'll be able to regulate a lot of things. Now, with people as our source, with communication, with gossip, with rumor, with misinformation, it has been part of us. This is the raw part of that. And retweet it, because that is what why the problem is about. Why do I want to believe? And what have
so that's a very interesting thing. Look at things objectively. We're trying to advocate for content so that other people, whether it's tagged or not, they will still go ahead with the jump into that now. My question for policy is, who decides who controls the policy? Am I making sense? I mean, if you look at movies like Avengers, you have 7 guys who have been decided that these are the good guys. We can all agree that these are the good guys. Now, what happens when the person who is steering the policy is a bad person? What happens when that person has a hidden agenda? What happens when, I'm going to go to the and come back to you. So what happens when they have an agenda that is not for the greater good of everybody? In terms of the policy, trying to control or policy, what I've seen is, fine, you're going to regulate AI in the sense that you want people to
one like content moderation. So if you are feeding it with data that is not factual, that is misinformation basically, and you're training the AI on that, how would you go about that? Very difficult. Because are you going to base it off on people who create the AI themselves, or people who are in legislature, or people who are basically normal policymakers? Because you cannot necessarily tell that, okay, this is what I want the AI to do. Can you say every AI manufacturing company should go according to this? What happens when I write a text and you can't put a stamp on it? You can't put a stamp on it. So that's interesting. We'll come back to that on your stance.
Now, the kind of world that we are entering to, I think now, if somebody should lose their Ghanaian passport, it won't hurt much. They have huge communities in our nation. Like somebody in Europe, you can make your argument, make Donald Trump reply to you and all that. So I think that we should start looking at where we need to make things open. I think in the tech space, we have something we call open source, open building, open community, and other things, whereby the policies will be regulated by government, but will be set by people. Yeah, I think with that, it is a step ahead for us to protect the AI, for us to point it. But if we don't leave it like, if we just leave it and there's no policing around it, there's no regulations around it to be face any consequences. But if there are policies around it, I get scared. I get to lose my licenses. I get to do a lot of things. So I think the policies will have to be built by us, but regulated by the governments, since that's what we know already. Like before the internet came, most people were much concerned about what would the internet do. I'm sending emails here and there. The dark web is still available before AI, but people are still not much interested in that. It's because it's harder to get there and to the other big parts of the bad errands. Yeah. So I think it has to be regulated by ourselves and the government.
So it's getting very interesting here. You guys are earlier, right, about who deserves to be a policymaker or who deserves to pass a law. And on the flip side, you're sort of saying that it will be set by the people themselves, and then the government will sort of enforce it. So I have a question for the crowd. Now, I need your involvement in this. So we have three people thinking that human beings are just bad, and the rest believe that human beings are good. Okay, let me change the question. Let me rephrase it. How many people believe it's much easier to do bad than it is to do good? How many believe that it's much easier to do good than to do bad? Okay, so there are people who just don't want to vote. I get it. Okay, so if what this survey is saying is true, that means allowing people to set the policy, they're going to die. Yes, it becomes harder. It becomes much harder.
It becomes much harder for the bad ones to corrupt it. Now, when we as people, when we meet as a group, we then get to barely admit certain things that we do in private. But let's say you about your body count and other ones, and you give them the same survey, everybody's going to score 90. Same way, there are products that are like open source already. There are some bad programs. Everybody gets to put their best behaviors. Then when we all go homes, now some of them turn into hackers, some of them turn into the good ones. So, and you are not there, and everybody comes, everybody know that you did it. So do you want everybody to come on you? Certainly not. But if it's open, and we know that in the future, we know your comments towards it, we know your merits towards it and everything.
You're advocating for almost like a free and fair election, in the sense that it's very transparent. And because of transparency, people will put on the best. The two is the real you, and which is the one that's designed. We're going to steer the conversation away from that just a little bit and move into the pockets of everybody here. Now, these AI tools, at the very basic level, it's in everybody's pocket right now. It's on everybody's phone, if you agree. You can wake up today and say you want to become an educator, you want to become a scientist, you want to become this, you want to become that. And with the use of these tools, start to create things. Right. Now, my question for that would be, what should people do? I'm going to give that to you. Right? My question for that would be, since you're trying to regulate this whole AI thing, and now it's everybody's pockets. Here in Ghana, we already almost always experience fake and false news. Even currently with the current journalism that we have, this is not even AI influenced yet. And it's already very difficult for people to even tell the difference, or for policymakers or regulators to enforce the halt of all of these techniques. And now it's in the pockets of the people. They have access, they can use videos, right? So are people becoming the new threats? And people are the ones responsible for creating things you see online? I'd say yes. But like you said, it all boils down to the kind of person you are. Like you said, if you are a human being, what you're creating at the end of the day is possible. So on my part, as a content creator, there's content moderation in place. So you could create content, post it online, and immediately the AI flags it. What I found out is the AI is not as accurate as it's supposed to be. So you can flag content that isn't necessarily AI generated or false misinformation. By doing that, it allows the human aspect to come and verify the information before it releases the videos, creating some of these things. So at the end, there is hope to a point. It just depends on how we go about it. That's incredible. And how many of you regulate hate speech online? And they've been doing a lot of regulation on hate speech. I think not so long ago, the very first person was sentenced to democracy and the right to speak freely. Right. Now, my question to you is on the concern of AI versus democracy. Is it in the law regulated?
I think yes. I think that's how it's going to be. It's going to be harder to say some things online with the future that we are. Now, these platforms have become huge, giant communities. Facebook has almost 1 billion daily visitors, which is more than all Ghanaians. Don't say that word. Don't say that word. It doesn't boil down to the context of what AI can do. It boils down to what power does Mark Zuckerberg has on his platform. The reason why I say that is because with online, probably when somebody is insulting you, you can block the person, you can delete the person. But in reality, when somebody is insulting you at circle, you have to either fight back or walk past by. You don't have a way where you can block it. You don't have a way where you can do it. So he's in a room where he doesn't understand any Chinese, but we are standing behind the gates. We give him Chinese information. So it takes the information, it changes it into English. No matter how many you're going to send it to him, it's going to translate it back to English for you. Now, when you change the context and you be like, oh, now you have, and the AI start to come back. It's because, in other words, it's artificial intelligence powered by a computer. It will be like the whole city of. So with that kind of capacity, AI doesn't have that kind of capacity. AI doesn't know what we call the element of truth. It doesn't know information that it wants. But it doesn't understand the concept of truth from our perspective as humans. When you tell me 6, I see it as 6. But with AI, depending on where AI stands, AI can see it as 9, it can see it as 6, depending on where it's standing. So it depends on the platform that is moderating that. Think about how we can also build our own African AI that understand our context, that understand our culture everywhere. So when you say, I don't support homophobic comments, but when you say homophobic comments on the internet, you might think that it's free. It's more like freestyle is going to make our conversations more safer and more accurate. Because now when you go on X and you see more conversation going on and other things.
AI versus democracy.
I can create and AI flags it automatically, flags it because of something. In a more advanced society, they say, what do you call it, impediment of free speech. Because I'm allowed to say what I want to say. But what I'm certainly impeding what I can do on the internet. And I feel like the way people can feel the power of AI and how it's very subjective, depending on who's using it. And I think that would be the one thing that's one side and the other side. On one side is me versus the enemy. And it's the exact same thing on the other side, me versus the enemy. So depending on where you're coming from, you're either the war hero or you're the villain, right? And I think the matter of the word truth is always going to be very subjective, and it's going to be what to go with or what not to go with. You will decide whether to probe further and go and prove to yourself that you are wrong, or you decide to do your own research and you're trying to publish content, and you're trying to do anything that includes AI. Just be a little bit mindful. Know that as it is now, it does not give accurate information. And that's perhaps the funniest thing about AI. It's so easy for it to lie. Few instances can you get the right thing. For instance, those who do academic work and try to use AI to get references, links, it will generate a fake reference, a fake link, and you only know when you actually try to click it, right? And it's very easy for people to fall for that because you don't have unlimited time to research everything you're looking at. You don't have unlimited resources to research. In fact, some of the AIs that give very accurate information are all behind the paywall. You have to pay to access it. So then what happens to $5 a month to fact check the AI consistently? That means you're just going to use what you have and run along with it.
I like the way you brought about the AI getting paid. You see, as I said, AI is created by someone. So now ChatGPT is for Otman. He owns it. Now he's making it profitable. He's saying that if you want, when you can't afford a calculator, doesn't mean don't do your math. If you want to do your math quicker, buy a calculator. Yeah, you were saying about AI not being able to solve certain academic works. There's an AI called Kwame AI. It can solve better maths than ChatGPT. It's created by a Ghanaian. So you see, the point is we should look at when we can start to create our own platforms, we start to create our own AI. We want to wait on the Westerners or the overseas people to do it. They are thinking of making profits. When they started this AI thing, they put all of it's only become paid when you want to access its full potentials. And not all AI platforms are meant for everything. There are specific AI platforms that is purposely they have been specified. That's why people are also creating companies around it because they decide that, well, I'm going to find all the time in the world people that came to the Jumbo Space, the Fast Forward events. AI can't provide you that kind of information. But we can build on our own AI. It will give you everything that you want. So how bad do we want the AI to work for us? And how bad are we also willing to invest and not just be consumers? Most of us also don't read the terms and conditions when using the AI. It tells you purposely that even your typos are data points for him. So when using the AI for free, you're literally becoming more of like the product. You become more like the AI's baby and the AI becomes your master. And he's trying to feed information from you and then give you some tips on it. Yeah. So if you want to use free AI, start to look at maybe platforms that are purely free, like Gemini, and nothing is free in this world. So if you want to use AI, maybe pay or use other platforms that you think that are probably moderated for the sector that you are looking at.
Well, that's a very interesting conversation that you brought when it comes to. I see you sound like a captain. I think I also believe that every single powerful tool has been inaccessible till now. I think for the first time, everybody sort of has enough power to make things happen. And people are beginning to now use the power to lift themselves out of poverty. I know we've been talking about AI in a very negative light up here, but we also cannot deny the overwhelming evidence of the positivity that it has brought into people's lives. We cannot deny how many people choose. There are people who have been able to write movies, storybooks, who have been able to discover the cures to certain complex diseases, people who have been able to figure out solutions for problems that have existed for hundreds of years, all because of the power of AI. I think it's a tool that will help everybody maximize what is really inside them. It's almost like what Desmond said. It's sort of like it's going to show you who you really are. Because now that the power is in your hands, what are the time for questions? But if you're going to leave anything with anybody here, know that from what Godfred is saying, we need to get to a point where AI is developed locally so we can have some control over its potential. And also from what Desmond is saying, that also exercise a lot, and not a little bit, exercise a lot of patience with what you see online. And now more than ever, be more scrutinous. Scrutinize everything that you see. Try as much as possible to not just fact check what you see. We all know that bad information spreads 10 times as fast as good ones. So when you see something that is potentially disastrous, try and fact check at least 3 times. And ask a friend, you can pass the mic on to you and we can move on. I think there's somebody at the back.
Hello? This is a quick question. Even with social media, which is at least 20 years old, Facebook, government still can't regulate it. Like government can't regulate stock, I'm saying now. So how do you regulate AI, and what do you think about governments owning AI models?
Thank you for your question. There's an Internet Act that was passed here, but who is implementing and who is suing? Most of the times we go with the African behavior where we don't sue people or we don't sue companies or we don't sue governments. If those dramas start to come up, we will start to see that there are laws, there are implementation, people's seats will be put on fire, and it will also probably bring a lot of interesting things on your behalf. Probably legal reasons are probably quite expensive, but also too, it will be interesting. Certain rich people will probably power you up. In a sense that I think about 2 weeks ago, a parent in the US is suing TikTok for their death of their kid because of a challenge on TikTok. TikTok didn't start that challenge, neither did they encourage the kid to do it, but they are blaming the algorithm for it. So if with the AI going on, somebody used them to operate here in court, mind you, somebody won using his name. But when you take time and you read the long terms and conditions on the platform that we use, indirectly, our country doesn't have direct like laws to sue your government because they are in power, they are using your taxes and other ones. They are saying how? Just probably yes, we are in Ghana, but you see, that's the thing. Someone needs to start the drama for all of us start to along. We are in 2020.
When the nuclear wars started, right, it was very hard for NATO to regulate countries from creating their own nuclear weapons. We were trying so hard to do it. So what they did was, now they just made everybody have the ability to make it. And what that created was something we call a nuclear deterrent. Because if you know I have it and you have it, if you fire, we both die. So sometimes policies are not there to be implemented every single time or enforced. But the presence of such policies would at least deter some people from actually acting on it. Without the policy, 80 people would have attempted it. With the policy, only about 20 people will attempt it. And you save yourself 80 people who now see the policy as a deterrent. I believe that this is just a Snapchat issue, something that people would never have taken seriously. Now, I happen to know the law firm that worked on that case. Half of examples, if one person does it, a lot of people feel like instantly they have the access to do the same. What do you think, Desmond? I agree. A lot. And going forward, spread the word, spread the news, and be mindful. All right, thank you.
Into the role of AI formation. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our events for today. We hope these discussions have shed light on the vital role we all play in combating misinformation. I know you guys are ready for the giveaway. I know you guys are ready. So, yeah. No, you are just speaking. Okay, so can you please mention it?
Dora Kumsen Hicks.
These are the 5 people going to win the 100 cities. 5 people going to win the 100 cities. It's Kumsen. That's you, Dora. Oh, so that's mine. Hey,
Joanna Fakomensa.
Dramani. Dramani is gone. Oh, Dramani is here. Princess is gone. Hey, if it's your name, you're not. Saida is gone. Where's your ID card? Okay. So 2 more. You're picking one. 2 more for the 100 cities. Please, outside Ramani, we have. Let me write the name because I don't. Just need the under. Come on. Your own there is not valid though. And our obeying your name, that doesn't count. You will saw Melanie. Okay, so we have the 5 people. And the last person is going to win 500 cedis. One person will win 500 cedis. Yes. So 500 for 5 people, and the last person wins the 500 cedis. I'm sorry. I need someone to pay. We need someone to pay. Malai, I bet you pick the 500 cedis. Please relax. Who is? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Guys, I bet you pick another one. Yes. Oh, Junior. Who is Leah? Oh, Leah. You show me your Ghana card. Oh, this is 500 cedis. You have a picture of your Ghana card. You can't remember 500 Ghana. Wow. Hey. Please don't become white. Not your hospital card, though. Hey, you have like 6 Ghana cards on your phone. Yeah, cool. You guys won money. I didn't win anything. I hope I won your hearts. Yeah, oh, mommy's calling you. Yeah. The winners. I won. So if you heard your name, you just walk inside, go see that beautiful lady over there, and go to Dramani. You can go in. Leah. Oh, hey guys.